Hello, fictional. Welcome to the crossover What Ifs. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the heir to hell and got harem? If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Naruto Uzumaki, once a child of boundless energy and dreams, had grown into a formidable young man. The days of ramen and pranks had given way to serious missions and responsibilities. As the leader of his own team, Naruto had fought numerous battles, but nothing had prepared him for the revelation that awaited him on this ordinary day. The mission had been straightforward. Retrieve a stolen scroll from a band of rogue ninjas. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke had successfully completed it, but something about the scroll seemed off. It was an ancient relic, sealed with a powerful enchantment. As Naruto unwrapped it, he felt a strange sensation, like a dormant power awakening within him. The scroll revealed a hidden passage, leading them to a cavern beneath the Hokage's office. Inside, Naruto's curiosity got the better of him, and he began to read aloud the cryptic script. The cavern was bathed in a crimson glow, and the air grew thick with a palpable energy. The words on the scroll spoke of an ancient lineage, of a bloodline that could command the very essence of hell. As Naruto read the final lines, a portal erupted from the ground, pulling him into its swirling vortex. His teammates, unable to follow, could only watch in shock and horror as Naruto disappeared. Naruto awoke in a realm unlike any he had seen. The sky was a seething mass of orange and red, the landscape scorched and twisted. Towering infernos and jagged rock formations dominated the view, while strange, menacing creatures roamed the hellish plains. Naruto's heart pounded as he realized he was no longer in the world he knew. He stumbled forward, trying to make sense of his surroundings, when he was suddenly confronted by a group of demons. Their eyes glowed with malicious intent, and their voices growled with unsettling authority. Who dares enter the realm of hell? One demon, larger and more imposing than the others, demanded. Naruto's eyes narrowed. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I don't know how I got here, but I'm looking for some answers. The demons laughed, their voices echoing through the infernal expanse. A mortal seeking answers in hell. How amusing. Before they could advance, a figure appeared from the shadows, a lanky, red-skinned demon with a wild look in his eyes. He wore a red suit and had a mischievous grin plastered across his face. Well, the demon said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Looks like we've got ourselves a lost ninja. Name's Blitzo. The O is silent. I run a little business around here. You're not supposed to be here, so let's get you sorted out. Naruto eyed him warily. Blitzo? What kind of business? Blitzo waved a hand dismissively. I run the HelluvaBoss agency. We take care of, well, let's say we handle problems that need a little unconventional approach. Naruto blinked. I'm not here for business. I'm trying to understand why I'm here. The scroll I found. Blitzo interrupted with a grin. Ah, the ancient scroll. You must be the heir then. The word struck Naruto like a thunderbolt. Heir? To what? Blitzo's grin widened. To hell, of course. Looks like you're the chosen one. Naruto stared at him in disbelief. That can't be right. I'm just a ninja from Konoha. Why would I be the heir to hell? Blitzo shrugged. Hell's politics are a bit messy. We've got demons, factions, and all sorts of chaos. The scroll you found must have revealed your true lineage. Hell's heir has been missing for centuries, and now you're here. Naruto's mind raced. But why me? What am I supposed to do? Blitzo's expression softened slightly. Well, first things first, we need to get you acclimated. Hell's not a place you can just wander around without understanding the rules. And second, you'll need allies. Naruto frowned. Allies? I don't even know where to start. Don't worry, Blitzo said with a smirk. You've got me and my team. We can help you figure things out. But be warned, hell's a dangerous place. There are factions that won't take kindly to the heir showing up unannounced. As if on cue, a massive explosion rocked the landscape. Naruto and Blitzo turned to see a battle unfolding in the distance. Demons clashed in a fiery melee, their roars and the clash of weapons filling the air. Blitzo's eyes narrowed. Looks like trouble. Come on, we've got to get out of here before we get caught up in that. Naruto followed Blitzo as they made their way through the twisted landscape, eventually arriving at a bustling infernal city. The streets were filled with all manner of demonic beings, their eyes watching Naruto with a mix of curiosity and disdain. Blitzo led Naruto to a high-rise building marked with a neon sign that read HelluvaBoss. Inside, the decor was a chaotic blend of modernity and infernal flair. The team members Moxie, Millie, and Luna greeted Naruto with a mix of surprise and suspicion. So, you're the new heir? Moxie asked, eyeing Naruto critically. Yeah, that's me, Naruto replied, trying to keep his composure. Millie, ever cheerful, extended a hand. Nice to meet you. I'm Millie. Don't worry, we'll help you get used to hell. Luna, the aloof receptionist, merely raised an eyebrow and muttered, this is going to be interesting. Naruto took a deep breath, ready to face the challenges ahead. He knew that navigating hell and claiming his legacy would be no easy feat, but with the help of Blitzo and his team, he was determined to find his place in this strange and dangerous world. As the door to the office closed behind him, Naruto looked out at the fiery cityscape, feeling a strange mix of apprehension and excitement. His journey as Hell's heir was only just beginning. The bustling infernal city was a far cry from the orderly streets of Konoha. As Naruto followed Blitzo through the chaotic maze of HelluvaBoss's headquarters, he couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the sights and sounds around him. Demons of every shape and size scurried about, their voices creating a cacophony that echoed through the smoky air. Blitzo led Naruto to a large office with a view of the city's sprawling infernos. The room was decorated with a mix of demonic flair and office decor, a bizarre combination of neon lights and old-fashioned wooden furniture. "Welcome to the HelluvaBoss headquarters," Blitzo said with a flourish, gesturing to the room. "Here, we handle all sorts of unconventional problems. And since you're the new heir, it seems you're going to be part of that." Moxie, the team's sharp-eyed and skeptical demon, looked up from his desk. "So, you're the one we're supposed to be helping?" Naruto nodded, trying to maintain his composure. "Yeah, that's me. I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing here, but I need to understand more about my role as the heir." Millie, ever enthusiastic, bounced into the room with a bright smile. "Don't worry, we'll get you sorted out. It's not every day we get a new heir to hell. You're in for an adventure." Luna, the aloof receptionist with a penchant for sarcasm, glanced up from her phone. "This is going to be a long ride. I hope you're ready for it." Blitzo clapped his hands together. "Alright, let's get down to business. First things first. We need to get you acquainted with the basic rules and politics of hell. It's a complex place, and knowing how to navigate it will be crucial." Naruto took a deep breath. "Okay, what's the first step?" Blitzo grinned. "Let's start with a tour of the city. You need to see the major players and understand the factions that run hell. But before that, we need to get you some appropriate attire." Naruto looked down at his standard ninja gear, which seemed out of place in this infernal environment. Blitzo led him to a nearby shop that specialized in demonic fashion. The shop's interior was filled with clothes made of strange materials, some that seemed to shimmer with a dark energy. The sales demon with a sleek serpentine appearance approached. "What can I do for you today?" Blitzo raised an eyebrow. "Our new heir needs a wardrobe upgrade. Something that screams authority but also blends in with the hellish crowd." Naruto tried on several outfits, each more bizarre than the last. He finally settled on a dark, stylish ensemble that combined elements of demonic and modern fashion, a tailored suit with fiery accents that seemed to pulse with an inner glow. As they left the shop, Blitzo continued the tour. Hell is divided into various factions, each with its own agenda. There's the Lust Ring, the Gluttony Ring, and so on. They all have their own territories and politics. As the heir, you'll need to be aware of these dynamics. Naruto listened attentively as they passed through different districts of hell. Each area had its own unique characteristics. Some were luxurious and opulent, while others were grim and desolate. The Lust Ring was particularly eye-catching, with its extravagant clubs and seductive demons, while the Gluttony Ring was a grotesque display of overindulgence and excess. Blitzo stopped in front of a grand, imposing building. This is the central hub of hell's politics. Most of the major decisions are made here. As heir, you'll need to make appearances and sometimes mediate disputes. Naruto's gaze was drawn to the building's intimidating architecture. I can see why that would be important. But how do I even begin to interact with these factions? Blitzo chuckled. That's where we come in. We'll help you with the political maneuvering and provide introductions. But remember, hell is full of intrigue and treachery. You'll need to be cautious and strategic. As the tour concluded, Naruto felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. He had a lot to learn about this new world and his role within it. But he was determined to rise to the challenge. Back at the HelluvaBoss headquarters, Naruto joined Blitzo and his team for a brief meeting. The atmosphere was a mix of casual and chaotic, with Moxie and Millie discussing recent assignments and Luna handling administrative tasks. Blitzo gathered everyone around. Alright team, here's the plan. We're going to introduce Naruto to some key figures in Hell's political scene. We'll start with a meeting with the leaders of the Lust Ring. They're a powerful faction and their support will be crucial. Naruto felt a surge of nerves. Meeting the leaders already? I thought I'd need more time to prepare. Blitzo gave him a reassuring smile. You've got this. We'll be with you every step of the way. Just be yourself and show them you're not someone to be trifled with. The team set out for the Lust Ring's headquarters, a lavish palace adorned with seductive decor and guarded by imposing demons. As they approached, Naruto could feel the weight of the moment. This meeting would be his first real test as the heir. Inside the palace, the leaders of the Lust Ring awaited him, a group of elegantly dressed demons with alluring appearances and sharp minds. They greeted Naruto with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. One of the leaders, a striking demoness with crimson skin and an air of confidence, stepped forward. "So, you're the new heir. What makes you think you can handle the responsibilities of hell?" Naruto met her gaze steadily. "I may be new to this, but I'm determined to understand my role and do what's necessary to ensure hell's stability." The demoness studied him for a moment before nodding. "We'll see. Prove yourself, and you'll earn our respect. But know this. Hell is unforgiving. You'll need to be both cunning and powerful to succeed." As the meeting concluded, Naruto felt a mix of relief and determination. He knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but with Blitzo and his team by his side, he was ready to face whatever hell had in store for him. Hell's towering infernos and labyrinthine streets had become a familiar backdrop for Naruto, but the weight of his new role as the heir was becoming increasingly apparent. Blitzo and his team had guided him through Hell's politics, but the real test was yet to come. Today, Naruto faced the first of his trials, a series of challenges designed to prove his worth to the demon factions and secure his position as Hell's heir. Blitzo led Naruto to a grand arena, its entrance flanked by colossal statues of demonic figures. The arena was filled with a diverse crowd of demons, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Naruto's heart pounded as he stepped into the center of the arena, the heat of the surrounding flames making the air shimmer. "Welcome to the trial of ascension," a booming voice announced from above. The voice belonged to a towering demon with a commanding presence, dressed in regal attire. "Today, we shall see if the heir has the strength and skill to lead hell." Naruto took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. Beside him stood Blitzo, Moxie, Millie, and Luna, their faces a mix of support and concern. Moxie stepped forward and placed a reassuring hand on Naruto's shoulder. "Remember, Naruto, this is just a test," Moxie said. "Show them your strength and determination. You've got this." Millie grinned. "And if you need any help, just call on us. We're right here." The arena was divided into several sections, each representing a different type of challenge. The first section, marked by jagged rocks and molten lava, was a test of physical prowess. Naruto watched as the other contestants, all demons of various sizes and shapes, faced off against each other in intense combat. The horn sounded, signaling the start of the trial. Naruto's first opponent, a hulking demon with fiery red skin and massive claws, roared as he charged at Naruto. The demon swung his claws with devastating force, but Naruto was quick to react. He dodged the attack with agile precision, summoning his shadow clones to create a whirlwind of movement. The arena erupted in cheers as Naruto's clones engaged the demon, their coordinated strikes overwhelming their opponent. Naruto used his clones to distract the demon while he prepared his own attack. With a burst of chakra, he unleashed a powerful Rasengan, slamming it into the demon and sending him sprawling across the arena. The crowd roared in approval as the defeated demon was dragged away. Naruto, panting but determined, moved on to the next section of the trial, a treacherous maze filled with traps and illusions. Blitzo joined him as he entered the maze. This part of the trial tests your mental acuity and ability to navigate complex situations. Watch out for traps and illusions. They're designed to confuse and mislead you. Naruto nodded, his senses alert as he made his way through the maze. The walls seemed to shift and change, and the floor beneath him occasionally trembled with hidden traps. But Naruto's training and instincts guided him through the maze, and he navigated the hazards with careful precision. In one particularly tricky section, Naruto encountered an illusionary replica of himself, created to distract and confuse him. The replica mimicked his movements and attacks, making it difficult to determine which was the real Naruto. But Naruto used his knowledge of his own techniques and chakra to dispel the illusion and continue on his path. As he reached the end of the maze, Naruto was met with a final challenge, a battle against a formidable demon guardian. The guardian was a massive creature with armored scales and blazing eyes. It stood between Naruto and the exit, its presence exuding an aura of immense power. Naruto's heart raced as he faced the guardian. He summoned all his strength and focus, determined to overcome this final obstacle. The battle was fierce and grueling, with the guardian's powerful attacks forcing Naruto to use all his skills and tactics. But Naruto's resolve and combat experience proved to be his greatest assets. With a well-timed combination of his shadow clones and Rasengan, Naruto managed to outmaneuver the guardian and deliver a decisive blow. The guardian roared in defeat, collapsing to the ground. The arena erupted in cheers once more as Naruto emerged victorious from the trial. Blitzo and his team greeted him with congratulations and cheers. "You did it, Naruto," Millie exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "You passed the trial with flying colors." Blitzo clapped Naruto on the back. "Great job, kid. You've shown them you've got what it takes to be Hell's heir." Moxie gave Naruto a nod of approval. "Impressive work. You've earned a lot of respect today." Luna offered a rare smile. "Not bad, kid. You're definitely making an impression." Naruto looked out at the cheering crowd, feeling a surge of pride and accomplishment. He had faced the trials and emerged victorious, proving his strength and determination. But he knew that this was just the beginning. Hell was a place of constant challenge and intrigue, and he would need to stay vigilant and focused to succeed. As the crowd began to disperse, Blitzo and his team led Naruto away from the arena. The sun was setting over the infernal landscape, casting a fiery glow over the city. Blitzo glanced at Naruto with a grin. "You've done well today, but there's still much more to learn. Hell's politics and challenges are complex, and you'll need all the help you can get." Naruto nodded, his resolve strengthened by the day's events. "I'm ready for whatever comes next. I'll do whatever it takes to fulfill my role as Hell's heir." Blitzo clapped him on the back. "That's the spirit. Let's get some rest and prepare for the next phase of your journey." As they walked through the bustling streets of Hell, Naruto couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. He had proven himself in the trial, but the real challenges lay ahead. With his new allies by his side and his determination unwavering, Naruto was ready to face whatever Hell had in store for him. The infernal city of Hell had become an almost familiar sight for Naruto, yet the complexities of his new role were still unfolding. Blitzo and his team had been invaluable guides, but the world of Hell was vast and treacherous. As the heir, Naruto knew he needed to navigate its intricate politics and alliances with caution. Today, however, he was faced with a more immediate challenge, one that involved more than just brute strength or clever tactics. The sun had set, casting long shadows over the fiery landscape. Naruto and Blitzo entered a dimly lit upscale club within the Lust Ring, a place known for its opulent decor and its role in the more decadent aspects of Hell society. The air was thick with the scent of exotic perfumes and the hum of sultry, seductive music. The club was a nexus for information and gossip, and Blitzo had arranged a meeting with a key informant who could offer insights into Hell's political undercurrents. Blitzo's red suit stood out against the plush dark surroundings. He approached the bar, where a demonic bartender with a sharp calculating gaze awaited. "We're here to meet with Lady Varen," Blitzo said, sliding into a booth with Naruto. "She's the one with all the juicy details about what's really going on in Hell." The bartender nodded and motioned for them to follow. They were led to a private room at the back of the club, adorned with luxurious furnishings and illuminated by soft flickering candlelight. Lady Varen, a demoness with striking violet skin and an air of effortless grace, awaited them. She lounged on a velvet couch, her eyes glinting with both amusement and calculation. "Blitzo," she purred, her voice a smooth caress. "It's been a while. And who might this be?" "This is Naruto Uzumaki," Blitzo introduced, "the new heir to Hell." Lady Varen's eyes widened in surprise, then a sly smile spread across her face. "Ah, the heir. I've heard whispers about you. Sit, please. Let's discuss matters." Naruto took a seat, trying to project confidence despite the unsettling nature of the encounter. "Thank you for meeting with us, Lady Varen. We're looking for information about the current political climate in Hell. Anything that could help me understand my role better." Lady Varen's eyes sparkled with interest. "The political climate is ever shifting, my dear. Hell is a place of power struggles, and the factions are always vying for dominance. Your arrival has certainly stirred things up." Blitzo leaned forward. "We need specifics. Which factions are currently the most influential? And who might be opposed to Naruto's claim as heir?" Lady Varen considered this for a moment, her expression thoughtful. "The Lust Ring is one of the more influential factions, but there are others who hold significant power. The Gluttony Ring is known for its excess and ambition. The Greed Ring, with its insatiable hunger for power and wealth, is particularly dangerous. And of course, the Wrath Ring, fierce and unpredictable, driven by their own agendas." Naruto absorbed the information, his mind racing with the implications. "And which of these factions might pose a threat to me?" Lady Varen's smile turned sharp. "The Greed Ring, for one. Their leader, Itachi, is ruthless and cunning. He sees the heir's return as a threat to his own power. The Wrath Ring, led by Astaroth, is unpredictable and can act out of spite or opportunism. They might try to undermine you simply to create chaos." Blitzo's expression grew serious. "How do we counteract their influence?" "Knowledge is power," Lady Varen replied. "The more you know about your enemies and their weaknesses, the better equipped you'll be to deal with them. And alliances can be a powerful tool. Finding common ground with other factions might help balance the scales in your favor." Naruto nodded, feeling the weight of the information settle over him. "I appreciate the insight. Is there anything else we should be aware of?" Lady Varen's eyes gleamed with a touch of mischief. "There's always more to learn in Hell. Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to question everything you're told. And beware of those who offer you too much help, they might have their own agendas." As the meeting concluded, Lady Varen offered a final enigmatic smile. "Good luck, heir. Hell is full of surprises, and you'll need all your wits to navigate its treacherous waters." Blitzo and Naruto left the club, the weight of their new knowledge heavy on their shoulders. The streets of the Lust Ring were alive with activity, but Naruto's mind was focused on the revelations he had just received. Blitzo turned to him. "Well, that was enlightening. We've got a lot to work with now. We should start making moves to strengthen our position and counteract any potential threats. Naruto nodded, determination hardening in his eyes. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not just here to play a part, I'm here to make a difference. As they walked through the fiery streets, Naruto felt a sense of resolve settling within him. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and intrigue, but he was ready to face it head-on. With Blitzo and his team by his side, he was prepared to navigate the treacherous politics of Hell and prove himself as the rightful heir. The night in Hell was far from peaceful, but Naruto was undeterred. His journey had only just begun, and he was ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead. The neon-lit skyline of Hell seemed to pulsate with an eerie energy as Naruto, accompanied by Blitzo and his team, prepared for the next phase of his journey. The information they had gathered from Lady Varen was both illuminating and unsettling. The complexities of Hell's political landscape were becoming clear, and the potential threats posed by the Greed and Wrath rings were now a significant concern. Blitzo had arranged for a discreet meeting with a contact who was reputed to have insider knowledge about the Greed ring. The meeting was to take place in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the Lust Ring, a place known for its secrecy and anonymity. The team arrived at the warehouse, its exterior worn and decrepit. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, filled with shadows and the faint scent of decay. Naruto followed Blitzo through the dimly lit corridors until they reached a small, hidden room. Inside, a figure cloaked in dark robes awaited them. "Blitzo, I assume?" The figure spoke, their voice muffled by the hood. "And the heir. I've heard about you." Blitzo nodded. "This is Naruto Uzumaki. We need information about the Greed Ring, especially about their leader, Malachi." The figure studied Naruto with interest. Malachi is a cunning and dangerous demon. His ambition knows no bounds, and he's always scheming to increase his power. If he sees you as a threat, you can be sure he'll try to undermine you in every way possible. Naruto took a deep breath. "What do you know about his plans? Is there anything we can do to counteract him?" The cloaked figure leaned forward, their eyes gleaming from beneath the hood. "Malachi has been working on several fronts. He's been trying to secure alliances with other factions and even attempted to make deals with some of Hell's more unsavory entities. He's also been stockpiling resources and weapons, preparing for a potential conflict." Blitzo's expression grew serious. "Do you have any idea where he's keeping these resources? Or who his key allies are?" The figure nodded slowly. "Malachi's primary base of operations is a fortress in the Gluttony Ring, heavily guarded and fortified. His closest allies include several powerful demons from the Greed Ring and a few from the Lust Ring who owe him favors. He's also been rumored to have connections with certain rogue elements who operate outside the established factions." Naruto's mind raced as he processed the information. How can we find out more about his allies and his plans? Is there a way to get close to him or his inner circle? The cloaked figure hesitated, then spoke in a low voice. "There's a gala event being held in the Gluttony Ring in a few days, a social gathering where many of Hell's elite will be in attendance. It's an opportunity for you to gather information and possibly make contacts. However, be cautious. Such events are rife with deception and danger." Blitzo nodded appreciatively. "We'll need to be strategic about this. A gala is the perfect place to gather intel and make alliances. But it's also a risk. We'll need to be prepared for anything." As they left the warehouse, Naruto felt a mixture of anticipation and unease. The gala and the Gluttony Ring was an opportunity, but it was also fraught with risks. He knew he would need to be on his guard and rely on his instincts to navigate the treacherous waters of Hell's elite. Back at the HelluvaBoss headquarters, preparations for the gala were already underway. The team worked late into the night, strategizing and planning their approach. Naruto found himself immersed in the details of the event, who would be in attendance, the layout of the venue, and potential points of interest. The night of the gala arrived, and Naruto, Blitzo, Moxie, and Millie donned their finest attire. Naruto's new outfit, a sleek and elegant suit with dark fiery accents, was designed to blend in with Hell's high society while still making a statement. Blitzo's flamboyant attire and the team's sharp, stylish looks completed the ensemble. As they entered the Gluttony Ring's fortress, the grandeur of the venue took Naruto's breath away. The halls were adorned with lavish decorations, and the air was filled with the sounds of music and laughter. The demons in attendance were dressed in their finest, and the atmosphere was both opulent and charged with tension. Naruto and his team moved through the crowd, their eyes and ears open for any signs of danger or opportunity. They mingled with the guests, engaging in conversations and observing the interactions of the other attendees. Naruto kept a close watch on the key figures, looking for any sign of Malachi or his allies. In the midst of the gala, Naruto noticed a figure standing apart from the crowd, a demoness, with an air of authority and elegance. She was surrounded by a small entourage and seemed to be engaged in a deep conversation with several influential guests. Naruto recognized her as one of Malachi's known associates. Blitzo approached Naruto, whispering, "That's Serafina, one of Malachi's closest advisors." If we can get close to her, we might be able to learn more about Malachi's plans. Naruto nodded, his resolve firm. Let's do it. They made their way over to Seraphina, joining the conversation with casual charm and practiced ease. Naruto introduced himself as a new player in Hell's political scene, eager to make connections and learn more about the factions. Seraphina regarded him with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. It's not often we see new faces at these gatherings. What brings you to the gluttony ring? Naruto smiled, his demeanor confident. I'm here to understand the lay of the land and make some valuable connections. Hell's politics are complex, and I'm eager to learn from those who know it best. Seraphina studied him for a moment, then smiled. Very well. We all have our own ambitions and interests. If you're as resourceful as you seem, you'll fit in just fine. As the evening progressed, Naruto and his team continued to gather information, making valuable contacts and observing the interactions of Hell's elite. They learned about the shifting alliances and the various schemes at play, but the true nature of Malachi's plans remained elusive. As the gala came to a close, Naruto felt a sense of accomplishment mixed with lingering apprehension. The night had been fruitful, but the challenges ahead were far from over. He knew that the path to securing his position as Hell's heir would be fraught with danger and intrigue. Back at the HelluvaBoss headquarters, the team debriefed and discussed their findings. The information they had gathered would be crucial in navigating the complex political landscape of Hell and countering the threats posed by Malachi and his allies. Naruto looked out at the fiery skyline, his resolve strengthened by the night's events. He was determined to face the challenges ahead and prove himself as the rightful heir. With Blitzo and his team by his side, he was ready to embrace the trials and tribulations of Hell. The aftermath of the gala and the gluttony ring had left Naruto and his team with a mix of new insights and lingering uncertainties. The information gathered from Seraphina and the other guests provided a clearer picture of the political landscape, but it also highlighted the depth of Malachi's scheming. With a growing understanding of the factions and their intricacies, Naruto knew it was time to act strategically to secure his position as Hell's heir. In the days following the gala, Naruto and Blitzo spent their time beepizing the information they had collected. They focused on understanding Malachi's alliances and the potential threats posed by his network of contacts. Naruto knew that knowledge alone wouldn't be enough, he needed to build his own alliances and strengthen his position within Hell. Blitzo, ever the opportunist, suggested a plan. We need to make a bold move. If we're going to counteract Malachi, we need to show strength and gather support from other factions. How about we host a gathering of our own? It'll give us a chance to make connections and demonstrate our influence. Naruto considered the idea. A gathering sounds like a good way to make an impression. But we need to be careful. We don't want to draw too much attention or provoke Malachi prematurely. Blitzo grinned. Don't worry. I've got connections with some influential demons who can help us set this up. We'll make sure it's an event that gets noticed. The team worked tirelessly over the next few days, planning the gathering and ensuring that every detail was perfect. The event was to be held in the Lust Ring, in a lavishly decorated venue known for hosting high-profile parties. Invitations were sent out to key figures from various factions, and the stage was set for an evening of intrigue and networking. On the night of the event, the venue was a hive of activity. The air was thick with the scent of exotic perfumes, and the room was adorned with luxurious decorations that dazzled the eye. Demons from across Hell's factions mingled, their conversations a blend of flattery, scheming, and subterfuge. Naruto and his team arrived at the venue, their attire elegant and understated, designed to blend in with the high society of Hell while still making a statement. As they entered the main hall, they were greeted by a mix of curious and cautious glances. The success of the evening would depend on their ability to navigate the complex social dynamics and make a strong impression. Blitzo took Naruto's arm, guiding him through the crowd. Remember, Naruto, this is our chance to show that we're a force to be reckoned with. Be charming, be strategic, and most importantly, be yourself. Naruto nodded, his eyes scanning the room for potential allies and adversaries. He approached a group of demons engaged in animated conversation, including a tall, imposing figure with a dark armored visage. Blitzo introduced Naruto to the group and the conversation shifted to include him. Welcome to our gathering, Naruto, the armored demon said, his voice a low rumble. I'm Vorin, from the Wrath Ring. It's not often we see new players making such a grand entrance. Naruto offered a polite smile. Thank you, Vorin. I'm here to build connections and understand the dynamics of Hell better. It's a pleasure to meet you. Vorin studied Naruto for a moment, then nodded approvingly. Hell is a place of ambition and power. Those who make their mark here are often those who understand the game. As the evening progressed, Naruto made a point of engaging with influential figures from various factions. He participated in discussions, made connections, and listened carefully to the conversations around him. The gathering was a success, with many demons expressing interest in aligning themselves with Naruto's cause. However, not everyone was pleased with Naruto's growing influence. In a corner of the venue, hidden from the main crowd, Malachai's enforcers observed the event with keen eyes. Their presence was subtle, but unmistakable, a reminder that Naruto's rise was not without its dangers. As the night wore on, Naruto felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned to find Seraphina standing behind him, her expression inscrutable. "May I have a word?" she asked, her voice soft but commanding. Naruto nodded, and the two of them stepped away from the crowd, finding a quieter corner of the venue. "What's on your mind, Seraphina?" Naruto asked. Seraphina glanced around to ensure they were alone before speaking. "I've been keeping an eye on the developments since the gala. Malachai is not pleased with your growing influence. He's planning something to undermine your efforts." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "What kind of plans?" "I don't have all the details," Seraphina replied, "but I've heard rumors of a plot to discredit you and sow discord among your supporters. Malachai has his own spies and allies working to create chaos and weaken your position." Naruto frowned, processing the information. "What should I do to counteract this?" Seraphina's gaze was thoughtful. "Stay vigilant. Strengthen your alliances and be proactive in dealing with potential threats. Malachai is a master of manipulation, and you'll need to stay one step ahead to outmaneuver him." Naruto nodded, appreciating the advice. "Thank you for the warning. I'll be sure to take it into account." As Seraphina rejoined the crowd, Naruto returned to the gathering, more determined than ever. The night had been a success in terms of building connections, but the threats posed by Malachai's machinations loomed large. With the information from Seraphina and his own observations, Naruto knew he needed to be prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. As the event drew to a close, Naruto and his team left the venue, the night air cool against their faces. The gathering had been a significant step in establishing Naruto's presence in Hell, but the true test was yet to come. With new allies and a heightened awareness of the dangers that awaited, Naruto was ready to face the challenges of Hell with renewed determination. The road ahead was fraught with danger and intrigue, but Naruto was prepared to navigate it with the strength, strategy, and resolve that would define his role as Hell's heir. The early morning light cast an eerie glow over Hell's landscape as Naruto and his team regrouped after the gala. The night had yielded valuable connections and insights, but it had also exposed the depth of Malachai's cunning. With Seraphina's warning in mind, Naruto knew he had to be both proactive and vigilant in the days to come. Back at their headquarters, Blitzo was already on edge, pacing back and forth with a stack of documents in hand. "We've got to act fast," he said, glancing at Naruto. "Malachai's not going to sit idly by while we make moves. We need to fortify our alliances and keep our enemies at bay." Naruto nodded. "What's our plan?" Blitzo tossed the documents onto the table and began outlining their strategy. "First, we need to consolidate our support. We've made some good contacts, but we need to solidify those relationships and ensure that we have a solid base of allies. Second, we need to address any potential threats before they become problems. We've got to be proactive in countering Malachai's schemes." Millie, always quick to offer support, chimed in. "I can help with the security side of things. If Malachai's planning something, we need to be prepared. I've got some contacts who can help us with security measures and counterintelligence." Moxie nodded in agreement. "And I'll handle the logistics. We'll need to keep a close eye on any suspicious activity and ensure that our operations run smoothly." With their roles assigned, the team set to work. The first order of business was to strengthen their alliances. Naruto and Blitzo arranged meetings with key figures from the Lust, Gluttony, and Wrath rings, seeking to solidify their support and gain further insights into the political landscape. During one of these meetings, Naruto found himself face to face with Lord Ashura, a formidable demon from the Lust Ring, known for his strategic acumen and extensive network. The meeting took place in a lavishly decorated chamber, filled with opulent furnishings and dimly lit by flickering candles. "Lord Ashura," Naruto began, extending a courteous nod, "I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us." Lord Ashura, a tall demon with a regal bearing, inclined his head in acknowledgement. "The pleasure is mine, Naruto. It's not often that I have the opportunity to meet someone of your standing. What can I do for you?" Naruto wasted no time in outlining his goals and the challenges he faced. "We're looking to strengthen our position and build a network of allies to counteract the threats posed by Malachai and his allies. Your support would be invaluable." Lord Ashura's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "Malachai is a dangerous opponent. His machinations are well known, and he's made many enemies. However, aligning with you could also attract his ire. You must be prepared for the consequences." Naruto nodded. "We're aware of the risks. But we believe that with the right support, we can navigate these challenges and secure our position." Lord Ashura considered this for a moment before speaking. "Very well. I will lend my support. But remember, alliances are built on trust and mutual benefit. Ensure that you honor your commitments and demonstrate your worth." With Lord Ashura's support secured, Naruto and his team turned their attention to fortifying their security. Millie coordinated with her contacts to enhance their defenses and implement measures to detect and counter any potential threats. The following day, as Naruto reviewed the security arrangements with Millie and her contacts, Moxie approached with a concerned expression. "We've picked up some unusual activity. There have been reports of increased movement among Malachi's operatives, and it looks like they might be planning something." Naruto's attention sharpened. "Do we have any specifics on what they're planning or when it might happen?" Moxie shook his head. "Not yet, but we're working on it. We'll need to stay alert and be prepared for anything." As they worked to uncover the details of Malachi's plans, Naruto received an unexpected visit from Seraphina. She arrived at their headquarters unannounced, her expression serious. "I have more information about Malachi," she said, her voice low. "There's a plot underway to discredit you and undermine your position. I've managed to obtain some details about their plans." Naruto and Blitzo ushered her into a private room where Seraphina shared what she had learned. "Malachi is orchestrating a campaign to spread rumors and create discord among your allies. He's targeting key figures to sow mistrust and confusion." Blitzo frowned. "That's exactly what we were afraid of. How do we counteract this?" Seraphina's eyes were intense. "You need to act quickly to address the rumors and strengthen your alliances. Show your commitment and integrity and work to expose the deception. The more transparent and trustworthy you appear, the harder it will be for Malachi to undermine you." Naruto nodded, determined. "We'll do whatever it takes. Thank you for the information." As Seraphina left, Naruto and his team set to work addressing the threats and rumors. They held meetings with their allies to reassure them and reinforce their commitment to mutual goals. They also launched a counter-campaign to expose the false rumors and discredit the sources of misinformation. Despite their efforts, the atmosphere was tense. Malachi's schemes were beginning to take their toll, and the political landscape of Hell was becoming increasingly volatile. Naruto and his team knew that they had to stay vigilant and proactive to counteract the threats and secure their position. As the days passed, the situation continued to evolve. Naruto's resolve was tested as he navigated the treacherous waters of Hell's politics, but he remained determined to prove himself as the rightful heir. With Blitzo and his team by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for power in Hell was far from over, but Naruto was prepared to embrace the trials and tribulations with courage and strategy. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he was ready to confront it head-on and secure his place as Hell's heir. The chaotic aftermath of Malachi's campaign to spread rumors had put Naruto and his allies on high alert. Despite their best efforts to counteract the falsehoods, the political climate in Hell was fraught with tension and suspicion. Naruto knew that addressing these issues head-on was crucial to maintaining his position and securing his alliances. The day began with an emergency meeting in their headquarters. Naruto, Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie gathered around a table cluttered with reports and documents detailing the ongoing fallout from Malachi's manipulations. The atmosphere was tense, with each member of the team deeply aware of the stakes involved. "We've managed to contain some of the rumors," Blitzo reported, "but it's clear that Malachi's influence is still spreading. We need to take more decisive action to neutralize the impact of his campaign." Naruto nodded, his expression determined. "We need to focus on two main areas: reinforcing our alliances and exposing the truth behind the rumors. If we can show that we're trustworthy and capable, we'll be able to turn the tide in our favor." Millie leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "We should consider staging a public demonstration of our commitment and integrity. If we show that we're open and honest, it might help rebuild trust among our allies and discredit the falsehoods being spread." Moxie added, "And we should continue to gather intelligence on Malachi's plans. We need to stay one step ahead of him and anticipate his next move." With their strategy in place, the team set to work. They organized a series of public appearances and events to showcase their dedication and transparency. Naruto took part in interviews, addressed gatherings, and participated in discussions to demonstrate his commitment to his role as Hell's heir. The public appearances were designed to highlight Naruto's strengths and dispel the rumors that had been circulated. He spoke candidly about his goals and vision for Hell, emphasizing his desire to bring about positive change and foster unity among the factions. As Naruto worked tirelessly to rebuild trust, Blitzo and Moxie continued their efforts to gather intelligence on Malachi. They tapped into their network of contacts and employed various surveillance techniques to monitor Malachi's activities. One evening, as the team was reviewing their findings, Moxie burst into the room, his face flushed with excitement. "We've got a lead on Malachi's next move. It looks like he's planning a major operation to discredit us further. He's gathering a coalition of dissenters and disaffected factions to stage a public protest." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "When is this supposed to happen?" "Tonight," Moxie replied. "We don't have an exact time, but it's going to be a big event. We need to act fast to counter it." Blitzo grinned. Looks like we've got ourselves a chance to turn the tables. If we can get ahead of this protest and show our strength, we might be able to sway public opinion in our favor. The team quickly mobilized, preparing to address the upcoming protest and make their presence known. Naruto decided to attend the event in person, intending to confront the dissenters and showcase his commitment to resolving the issues they raised. As night fell, Naruto and his team arrived at the location of the protest. The scene was chaotic, with a large crowd of disgruntled demons gathering in front of a makeshift stage. The air was filled with the sounds of chanting and the murmur of angry voices. Naruto approached the stage with Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie by his side. The protesters were vocal in their criticism, their grievances amplified by Malachi's influence. As Naruto took the stage, he was met with a mix of jeers and skeptical glances. "Ladies and gentlemen," Naruto began, his voice steady and commanding. "I understand that there are concerns and frustrations, and I'm here to address them directly. I'm committed to listening to your grievances and working together to find solutions." The crowd quieted slightly, their curiosity piqued. Naruto continued, speaking with sincerity and conviction. He acknowledged the issues raised by the protesters and outlined his plans for addressing them. He emphasized his dedication to bringing about positive change and ensuring that the needs of all factions were considered. As Naruto spoke, he could see the shift in the crowd's mood. While there were still dissenters who remained unconvinced, many of the protesters began to listen more attentively. Naruto's willingness to engage openly and address their concerns directly helped to counteract the influence of Malachi's campaign. Despite Naruto's efforts, the protest was not without its challenges. Malachi's operatives attempted to incite further unrest and disrupt Naruto's address. The atmosphere was tense, with occasional outbursts and attempts to undermine Naruto's message. Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie worked diligently to manage the crowd and counteract any attempts to sabotage the event. Their efforts, combined with Naruto's compelling speech, helped to mitigate the impact of the protest and demonstrate their resolve. By the end of the night, the protest had largely dissipated, with many of the protesters leaving with a sense of cautious optimism. Naruto and his team had managed to navigate the challenges and address the concerns raised by the dissenters. As they left the scene, Naruto felt a mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. The protest had been a significant test of their resilience and ability to adapt, but they had emerged with a strengthened position and renewed support from many of the factions. Blitzo clapped Naruto on the back. "You did great out there. We've managed to turn things around and show that we're not easily deterred." Naruto smiled wearily. "Thanks. We've still got a long way to go, but we're making progress. Let's keep pushing forward and stay ahead of Malachi." With their spirits lifted and their resolve strengthened, Naruto and his team prepared for the next phase of their journey. The battle for influence in Hell was far from over, but they were determined to face the challenges ahead with courage and determination. As they headed back to their headquarters, Naruto knew that the path to securing his place as Hell's heir was filled with obstacles and trials. But with the support of his team and the strength of his convictions, he was ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The aftermath of the protest left Naruto and his team with a hard-earned sense of victory, but also with the realization that Malachi's machinations were far from over. The demonstration had proven their ability to handle adversity, but it had also intensified the target on their backs. They needed to be more vigilant than ever. Naruto's confidence in his ability to handle public relations had been bolstered by the success of the protest intervention. Still, the subtle threats and deceptions that lurked in the shadows were far from defeated. One evening, as Naruto reviewed reports in his office, a sudden knock on the door interrupted his focus. "Come in," Naruto called out, his tone curious. The door opened, revealing Seraphina. Her face was etched with concern, and Naruto could tell immediately that something was amiss. "Seraphina, what's wrong?" Naruto asked, gesturing for her to take a seat. Seraphina took a deep breath before speaking. "I've come with urgent news. I've discovered something troubling about one of our allies. There's a chance that we have a traitor in our midst." Naruto's eyes widened. "A traitor? Who?" "I'm still working on confirming the details," Seraphina said, "but I've intercepted communication suggesting that one of our supposed allies has been in contact with Malachi. It's possible that they're leaking information or undermining our efforts." Blitzo, who had been listening in, interjected. "We can't afford to be blindsided by betrayal. We need to find out who it is before they do any more damage." Naruto nodded. "Agreed. What's our next move?" Seraphina glanced around to ensure that no one else was listening. "We need to conduct a discreet investigation. We can't risk alerting the traitor. I have a few leads that might help us identify the individual. I'll need your help in gathering information and keeping a close watch on our allies." The team agreed, and over the next few days, they worked covertly to identify the potential traitor. Naruto and his team gathered intelligence on their allies, cross-referencing their activities and communications. The investigation was delicate and required careful handling to avoid tipping off the traitor. One evening, as Naruto and Seraphina were poring over their findings, a sudden disturbance erupted in the headquarters. A loud crash followed by the sound of shouts reached their ears. Naruto and Seraphina rushed to the source of the commotion, finding Blitzo and Millie in the midst of a heated confrontation. "What's going on?" Naruto demanded, his gaze shifting between Blitzo and Millie. Blitzo looked visibly agitated. "We've got a problem. I found a spy in our ranks. They were trying to access our secure files." Naruto's heart sank. "Do we know who it is?" Millie stepped forward, her expression grim. "We've identified the traitor. It's one of our trusted contacts from the Lust Ring." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Who?" "It's Lord Ashura," Millie revealed. "He's been in contact with Itachi and leaking information about our plans." Naruto felt a surge of anger and betrayal. "Lord Ashura? How could he do this?" Blitzo shook his head. "It looks like Itachi's influence goes deeper than we thought. Ashura must have been playing us from the beginning." Seraphina's expression was one of resolve. "We need to act quickly. If Ashura is working with Itachi, he'll likely be planning something to undermine us. We need to confront him and neutralize the threat." Naruto nodded, his resolve hardening. "Let's move. We need to find Ashura and deal with this before it escalates further." The team prepared to confront Lord Ashura. They gathered their gear and formulated a plan to approach him without alerting him to their intentions. Naruto knew that this confrontation would be delicate, they needed to handle it with care to avoid provoking further conflict. As they arrived at Lord Ashura's domain, a lavishly decorated palace in the Lust Ring, Naruto and his team approached with caution. They made their way through the opulent corridors and reached the grand hall where Lord Ashura awaited them. Lord Ashura sat on a throne-like seat, his expression calm but guarded. "Ah, Naruto. I see you've come for a visit. To what do I owe the pleasure?" Naruto stepped forward, his gaze unwavering. "We know about your betrayal, Ashura. We've uncovered evidence of your dealings with Itachi." A flicker of surprise crossed Lord Ashura's face, but he quickly masked it with a smirk. "Ah, so you've discovered my little secret. I suppose it was only a matter of time." Blitzo's eyes narrowed. "Why, Ashura? Why betray us?" Lord Ashura leaned back, his demeanor almost casual. "In hell, power is everything. Aligning with Itachi was a strategic move. He offers greater opportunities for advancement and influence. You're simply a stepping stone to greater ambitions." Naruto's fists clenched. "You've jeopardized everything we've worked for. We're here to put an end to this betrayal." Lord Ashura's eyes gleamed with a cold calculating light. "I admire your determination, but you're too late. The wheels are already in motion and Itachi's plans are well underway." Seraphina stepped forward, her gaze steely. "We're not finished yet. We'll expose your treachery and ensure that Itachi's schemes are thwarted." A tense silence followed as Naruto and his team prepared for the confrontation. Lord Ashura, realizing that the situation was no longer in his favor, attempted to retreat, but Naruto and his allies were ready. The confrontation was intense, with a fierce battle erupting between Naruto's team and Lord Ashura's guards. Amid the chaos, Naruto faced Lord Ashura directly, determined to bring him to justice. As the battle raged on, Naruto's resolve was unwavering. He fought with precision and determination, determined to protect his position and the future of Hell. With a decisive strike, Naruto managed to subdue Lord Ashura, bringing the confrontation to a close. The traitor was captured, and his actions were exposed to the other factions. The revelations about Lord Ashura's betrayal and his dealings with Itachi caused a significant shift in the political landscape. Allies rallied to Naruto's cause, and support for Itachi waned. As Naruto and his team returned to their headquarters, they were met with a mix of relief and determination. The battle against betrayal had been a significant test, but they had emerged stronger and more united. Naruto knew that the challenges were far from over, but with the support of his allies and the lessons learned from this confrontation, he was prepared to face whatever lay ahead. The path to securing his place as Hell's heir was fraught with danger, but he was ready to embrace it with courage and resolve. The capture of Lord Ashura and the exposure of his betrayal marked a pivotal moment in Naruto's quest to secure his position as Hell's heir. The political landscape had shifted, with many factions reconsidering their alliances in the wake of the revelations. While Naruto and his team enjoyed a brief respite, they knew that Itachi would not be easily deterred. The days following the confrontation were filled with a mix of relief and strategic planning. Naruto and his team worked tirelessly to consolidate their position and strengthen their alliances. The exposure of Ashura's treachery had garnered support from various factions, but it had also heightened the sense of urgency. Itachi was bound to retaliate, and they needed to be prepared for whatever he had in store. One evening, as the team gathered for a strategy meeting, Naruto and his allies sat around a table covered in maps and intelligence reports. The atmosphere was tense, with each member of the team aware of the gravity of their situation. Blitzo broke the silence. We've seen a significant shift in the political landscape since Ashura's capture. Many factions are leaning towards our side, but there's also been a noticeable increase in Malachi's activity. He's clearly planning something big. Moxie nodded in agreement. We need to stay ahead of him. I've been beepizing the intelligence we've gathered, and it looks like Malachi is focusing his efforts on rallying his remaining supporters for a major offensive. Serafina added, we've also picked up rumors of a possible alliance between Malachi and a powerful demon lord from another ring. If this alliance comes to fruition, it could tip the balance of power in his favor. Naruto's expression was grim. We can't let that happen. We need to act quickly to disrupt Malachi's plans and prevent him from solidifying his position. The team discussed their options and formulated a plan to preemptively strike at Malachi's operations. Their goal was to weaken his position and create opportunities to consolidate their own alliances. The strategy involved a combination of covert operations and public displays of strength to send a clear message. As they prepared to execute their plan, Naruto felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The challenges they faced were formidable, and the stakes were higher than ever. He knew that the upcoming confrontation with Malachi would be a defining moment in his journey. The night of the planned operation arrived, and Naruto and his team moved with precision and determination. They launched a series of coordinated strikes against Malachi's key assets, targeting his supply lines, communication networks, and strategic strongholds. The operation was intense and demanding. Naruto and his allies faced fierce resistance from Malachi's forces, but their combined skills and teamwork allowed them to achieve their objectives. They succeeded in disrupting Malachi's plans and diminishing his influence over key factions. As the dust settled, Naruto and his team regrouped to assess the outcome of their operation. The immediate results were promising, with Malachi's resources and support base significantly weakened. However, the threat of retaliation remained a concern. Blitzo wiped sweat from his brow and looked at Naruto. We've made a significant impact, but we need to be ready for Malachi's counterattack. He won't take this lying down. Naruto nodded. I'm aware. We need to stay vigilant and continue to strengthen our alliances. The battle isn't over yet. The following day, Naruto and his team received an urgent message from one of their contacts. The message contained alarming news about Malachi's next move. According to the intelligence, Malachi was planning a grand offensive to reclaim lost ground and strike at Naruto's core support base. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Naruto called an emergency meeting with his team. Malachi's planning a major offensive. We need to be prepared to defend our position and counter his attack. The team quickly formulated a defensive strategy, focusing on fortifying their strongholds and mobilizing their allies. Naruto and his team worked tirelessly to ensure that they were ready for the impending assault. As the days passed, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. The impending confrontation with Malachi loomed large, and the team remained on high alert. They continued to gather intelligence and reinforce their defenses, determined to protect their hard-won position. One evening, as Naruto reviewed the latest reports, he felt a sense of resolve and determination. The challenges they faced were daunting, but he knew that he had the support of his allies and the strength to overcome them. Serafina approached Naruto with a concerned expression. We've received word that Malachi's offensive is imminent. We need to finalize our preparations and ensure that we're ready to face whatever he throws at us. Naruto nodded, his expression resolute. We'll be ready. We've come too far to back down now. We need to stand firm and show that we're not easily defeated. As the final preparations were made, Naruto and his team braced themselves for the upcoming battle. The clash with Malachi would be a decisive moment in their journey, and they were determined to face it with courage and unity. The gathering storm of conflict was approaching, and Naruto knew that the outcome would shape the future of Hell. With the support of his allies and the strength of his resolve, he was prepared to confront the challenges ahead and secure his place as Hell's rightful heir. The tension in Hell was palpable as the anticipated confrontation with Malachi drew near. The stakes had never been higher, and Naruto and his team were readying themselves for the most critical battle of their journey. The time for strategy and preparation was over. Now, it was time to face their adversaries head-on. Naruto's headquarters had been transformed into a bustling hub of activity. The team worked around the clock, fortifying their defenses, organizing their forces, and ensuring that every contingency was planned for. Each faction that had rallied to their cause had been mobilized, and Naruto knew that their unity and strength would be crucial in the battle ahead. The night before the confrontation, Naruto gathered with Blitzo, Millie, Moxie, and Serafina in the command center. The room was filled with maps, reports, and the latest intelligence updates. The atmosphere was tense but determined. Blitzo broke the silence. Everything's in place. Our defenses are solid, and our allies are ready. We've got a fighting chance. Naruto looked at his team, his expression resolute. We've faced a lot of challenges, but this is the one that will define us. We need to stand together and show Malachi that we're not to be underestimated. Lily nodded, her eyes fierce. We'll make sure he knows exactly who he's dealing with. Let's end this. As dawn broke, the calm before the storm was shattered by the sound of approaching forces. Malachi's grand offensive had begun. The horizon was filled with the dark silhouettes of his army, and the air was charged with anticipation. Naruto and his team took their positions, ready to defend their stronghold and counter Malachi's assault. The first wave of attackers hit their defenses with brutal force. The clash of weapons, the roar of battle cries, and the explosions of magic filled the air. Naruto fought alongside his allies, his chakra blazing with intensity. His skills and determination were evident as he struck down foes and protected his comrades. Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie were equally formidable, each demonstrating their unique abilities to fend off the onslaught. Amid the chaos, Naruto's gaze was fixed on the battlefield, trying to spot any sign of Malachi. He knew that the true challenge lay in confronting Malachi himself and putting an end to his schemes once and for all. As the battle raged on, Naruto spotted Malachi's distinctive form commanding his forces from a vantage point. With a determined expression, Naruto pushed through the enemy lines, making his way toward Malachi. Blitzo and Moxie covered his advance, engaging Malachi's most elite guards. Naruto fought his way through, his determination driving him forward. The clash between Naruto and Malachi was inevitable, and the tension was almost tangible as they finally came face to face. Malachi greeted Naruto with a smirk, his eyes cold and calculating. I see you've made it through my little welcoming party. Impressive, but it won't be enough to save you. Naruto's gaze was unwavering. This ends now, Malachi. You've caused enough suffering and chaos. I'm here to put an end to it. Malachi's smirk widened. You're welcome to try. But you should know that my plans are already in motion. This battle is just a distraction. The two adversaries clashed in a fierce duel. Naruto's chakra blazed with intensity, and his attacks were precise and powerful. Malachi matched him blow for blow, his dark magic and cunning making him a formidable opponent. As the battle between Naruto and Malachi intensified, the surrounding chaos seemed to fade into the background. Each strike and maneuver was a testament to their strength and determination. Naruto's focus was unwavering, driven by the desire to protect his allies and secure his place as Hell's rightful heir. During the confrontation, Naruto began to notice subtle shifts in Malachi's strategy. It became apparent that Malachi was trying to outmaneuver him, using deceptive tactics to gain the upper hand. Naruto had to rely on both his combat skills and his instincts to counter these tactics and stay in the fight. Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie continued to support Naruto from the sidelines, engaging Malachi's forces and providing crucial assistance. Their teamwork and coordination played a vital role in disrupting Malachi's plans and buying Naruto the time he needed to confront his nemesis. In a critical moment, Naruto managed to break through Malachi's defenses, landing a powerful blow that sent Malachi sprawling. The impact was significant, but Malachi quickly recovered, his eyes burning with fury. You think you've won? Malachi spat, struggling to regain his footing. This is just the beginning. Even if you defeat me, my influence will continue to spread. Naruto's expression was resolute. I won't let your darkness consume hell. I'm fighting for a better future, and I won't stop until you're stopped. With renewed determination, Naruto unleashed a powerful combination of chakra techniques, each strike more intense than the last. Malachi fought back with equal ferocity, but Naruto's resolve and strength began to turn the tide of the battle. As the confrontation reached its climax, Naruto delivered a decisive blow that left Malachi vulnerable. With a final surge of energy, Naruto unleashed his most powerful technique, sealing Malachi's fate and ending the battle. The field fell silent as Malachi's forces were driven back and the immediate threat was neutralized. The battle had been hard fought, but Naruto and his allies had emerged victorious. The clash of titans had come to an end and the future of Hell was now within their grasp. Exhausted but triumphant, Naruto surveyed the battlefield. The cost of victory had been significant, but the sense of accomplishment and relief was palpable. The fight for Hell's future had been intense, but they had proven their strength and determination. Blitzo, Millie, and Moxie approached Naruto, their expressions a mix of fatigue and pride. You did it, Naruto, Blitzo said. We've beaten Malachi and secured our position. Naruto nodded, his gaze thoughtful. This battle was just one part of the journey. We still have work to do to rebuild and ensure that Hell's future is secure. As the sun rose over the battlefield, Naruto and his allies prepared to face the challenges ahead. The battle against Malachi had been a defining moment, but the road to securing Hell's future was far from over. With the support of his allies and the strength of his convictions, Naruto was ready to embrace the journey ahead and shape a new era for Hell. The battle had concluded, and the echoes of conflict slowly faded as the dust settled over the scorched battlefield. Hell's skies, once dark and tumultuous, now bore a glimmer of hope. The defeat of Malachi had marked a turning point, but the real challenge lay in rebuilding and ensuring a stable future. In the aftermath of the conflict, Naruto and his team were busy overseeing the recovery efforts. The stronghold, though battered, stood as a symbol of resilience. Allies and factions that had fought alongside Naruto began to regroup and discuss the path forward. The day after the battle, Naruto gathered his closest allies Blitzo, Millie, Moxie, and Seraphina in a meeting to address the future of Hell. The atmosphere was somber, but filled with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation. Blitzo spoke first. "We've managed to drive back Malachi and his forces, but there's still a lot of work ahead. We need to focus on rebuilding, restoring order, and ensuring that we don't face such threats in the future." Moxie nodded in agreement. "Our alliances have held strong, and many factions are eager to work with us to stabilize the situation. It's a good opportunity to forge new partnerships and strengthen our position." Seraphina looked at Naruto with a thoughtful expression. "The victory is significant, but we need to address the remaining factions that were loyal to Malachi. They may attempt to undermine our efforts if left unchecked." Naruto took a deep breath, his gaze resolute. "We'll address the remaining threats and ensure that our leadership is respected. Our goal is to create a lasting peace and build a future where Hell is strong and united." The team discussed their plans and strategies, focusing on diplomacy, security, and governance. They set out to rebuild the damaged areas, provide support to those affected by the conflict, and establish mechanisms to prevent future conflicts. As the days turned into weeks, the effects of their efforts began to take shape. Hell's infrastructure was repaired, and the sense of unity and cooperation among the factions grew stronger. Naruto's leadership was widely recognized, and his vision for a more stable and prosperous Hell began to resonate with the inhabitants. Throughout this period, Naruto's relationship with his allies deepened. The trials they had faced together had forged strong bonds, and their mutual respect and trust were evident. The camaraderie and friendship that had developed were a source of strength as they worked toward their shared goals. One evening, as the sun set over the newly rebuilt stronghold, Naruto and his team gathered on a balcony overlooking the landscape. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, a stark contrast to the dark clouds of the recent past. Blitzo looked at Naruto with a smile. "We've come a long way since we first started. Hell's future is looking bright, and it's thanks to your leadership and the hard work of everyone involved." Naruto smiled back, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "It's been a challenging journey, but we've made it through. I couldn't have done it without all of you. This is our victory, and it's a new beginning for Hell." Millie took Naruto's hand and gave him a warm smile. "We're all in this together. The future is full of possibilities, and we'll face it with the same determination that got us here." As they stood together, the horizon seemed to promise a new era for Hell. The battles had been fierce, and the cost had been high, but the rewards were worth the effort. Hell was on the path to recovery and renewal, and Naruto was ready to lead the way. In the weeks that followed, Naruto continued to work tirelessly to ensure that Hell's future was secure. His efforts were met with growing support and optimism from the inhabitants of Hell. The changes they had implemented were making a tangible difference, and the sense of progress was palpable. As the final tasks of rebuilding and reorganizing were completed, Naruto took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought him to this point. The challenges he had faced, the allies he had gained, and the victories he had achieved had all shaped him into the leader he was becoming. Naruto's thoughts were interrupted by Seraphina, who approached with a thoughtful expression. "There's something I'd like to discuss with you, Naruto." Naruto looked at her with curiosity. "What is it?" Seraphina hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I've been thinking about the future and how we can continue to build on the progress we've made. There are opportunities for growth and collaboration that we should explore, both within Hell and beyond." Naruto nodded, understanding the importance of maintaining forward momentum. "I agree. We've made significant strides, but there's always more we can do to improve and strengthen our position." As the conversation continued, Naruto and Seraphina discussed their vision for Hell's future and the steps they would take to realize it. The future was uncertain, but with the strength of their convictions and the support of their allies, they were prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The dawn of a new era was on the horizon, and Naruto stood ready to lead Hell into a brighter and more prosperous future. With the lessons learned from their journey and the unity they had forged, the possibilities seemed endless. As the sun rose over Hell, casting a golden light over the rebuilt stronghold, Naruto looked out with hope and determination. The future was theirs to shape, and they would face it together, guided by the strength of their resolve and the promise of a new beginning. So this part ends here. Alright, that's it for today's video guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Bye bye.